year. Now we're around, I believe, the 4th of Sivan territory over here. Marks the Hilula of a really great Iraqi rabbi, Rabbi Yitzchak Selah Michmel, Zecher Tzadik Libracha, one of the famous rabbis of his time in Iraq. And he was born, I believe, approximately in the year 1875 and passed away in the English year 1951. He was also an educator. He had like a wisdom with regards to the Jewish calendar, especially dealing with leap years and various different very important Torah-related fields in of itself. But let's explore a few of the highlights of the famous Iraqi rabbi's life. Now, he was born in the city of Baghdad in Iraq, which was a bastion center, let's just say, of Torah learning at that point in time. To be precise, on the 12th of October, that was in 1875. I believe the Hebrew date for that was the 13th of Tishrei, 2 days just before the festival of Sukkot it was. He was born to his parents' names was Farha and Salah, respectively. And very interesting. As a child, he would learn in a famous Midrash Talmud Torah, I think Midrash Bet Silka, respectively, over there. That's where he would progress to go on. Remember, the Midrash Bet Silka was a famous yeshiva where Rav Abdullah Samech was Rosh Yeshiva there. In his time, he would study with various other great personalities that would become great rabbanim, including Rabbi David Ma'atok, and also Rabbi Shimon Agassi, another famous rabbi we've spoken about, and Rabbi Yehuda Fataya. Then I think, come what year, I think it was around the year 1898. Sadly, I believe his father passed away very, very sadly. Now, I think in 1905, he would immigrate to Palestine with his family and would settle in the holy capital city of Jerusalem. But due to health reasons, I think he would return to Baghdad after a several-month window. In 1906, he would begin to serve as a teacher. Sorry. He would teach Talmud, Torah studies in and of itself, and Hebrew, as he was also a supervisor in the teacher, mashkiach, in the Midrash Talmud Torah over there, respectively. So this was in the very early 1900s. Come what the year 1918, he specialized in training teachers in various different institutions, Jewish Torah institutions, respectively. He would teach, I think, Hebrew, grammar, Jewish history. I think he would do various evening classes also. So he was very hands-on encompassment and really training also the next generation of great Talmud. They're coming to become top-notch educators, let's just say, in its own right. I think come what the year 1926, he would then start giving classes in Hebrew, in Dikduk, and dealing with the Jewish history of Toldot of Am Yisrael in a special evening class. That was around the time period of 1926. Now, I think when the famous Rabbi Ezra Dangor passed away, this would have been, I think, in the year 1930, if I'm not mistaken, he would take over his position because Rabbi Ezra Dangor was doing like a very important, let's say, classes, and part of his role would be to organize the annual calendar of the structure of Baghdad, of Iraq, respectively, over there. In come of the year, I believe it was 1942. This was obviously during the time period of the Second World War. He would take on even more positions at that point in time, more responsibilities. He would head a committee also to determine Jewish lessons in what will be the curriculum in the Jewish schools in Iraq, in the education system, and he would establish it for that year. He would also voluntarily train teachers that were willing to teach Judaism and Hebrew in afternoons in various different Jewish schools also. So really his education in Kirov and to spread the next generation of talent was second to none, especially in that specific place. Now, a lot of Iraqi Jews would emigrate to Israel in the early 1950s, especially. He would immigrate to Israel, I believe, in July 1950. That was in the Hebrew month of Av at that point in time. And they would settle, the family would, and I believe he himself, in an area called Ma'abara. I think this was like, let's say, a more absorptional settlement over there, a temporary housing place. Unfortunately, his health would deteriorate when he arrived there. There was difficult conditions in that specific place. And sadly, he passed away on June the 8th in the year 1951. That would have been, I believe, Dalet Sivan. He was buried in the Sanhedria Cemetery in Jerusalem. We visited that place on this channel at one stage in time. Now, his grandson, I believe, will also become an Israeli educator and a historian. His name was Moti Shalem. I think he would become, let's just say, vice president of content and development at the Shem Olam Institute and chairman of the IDF Education and Youth Corps Association. That was one of his descendants. Interesting enough. Now, he would write great Torah books also, including Davar Ba'atot Be'atot. This was based on Drushim, on the various different festivals also. And I'd recommend, I think that was divided actually into two sections, two separate books, if I'm not, two separate volumes. Then the Tivot Yitzchak, which was on the Chachmot of the Hibur Veloach Hashanah, about within regards to the calendar, about formulating it. Then the Sefer HaTchuna, which was on Kochavim, Malchim, Sefer HaMashva, very another important, also connected to maybe the calendar realms. Sidur Shalem, which was a Sidur Luchot, Shnataim Lashonim Rabot. Then there was a Ma'anet Lashon. This was basically Dikduk, Ivri, Hebrew grammar. Hamishkal Hashaveh. This would have various different paskei dinim, let's just say, in of itself, specifically, and I think he would also be composing songs, if I'm not mistaken. Then there was Sefer Refuot, which was talking about exact, let's just say, to the exact definition, exact trufot, different medicines and different kinds that there was in of itself, maybe with different various challenges. Then another book was Salcha El Ezer, which was Inyanei Derech Eretz, to have a proper way of life within regards to mixing in society, fitting in, being embraced, and working well towards that. That, you could say, is an example of that. He would talk very much about Derech Eretz, which is something that we learn about, especially in the season of Pirkei Avot, manners, etiquette, and I think he would also possibly publish more different writings and different works in of itself. But it was a famous rabbi of his time, Rabbi Yitzchak ben Selah Michmel, very, very famous rabbi of his time. And I believe he passed away in the Hebrew month of Adar, so I'd recommend everyone to learn more within regards to him. He lived about 76 years of age, passing away in the year 1951, being buried in the Sanhedria burial plot in Jerusalem. Very great rabbi of his time. Don't forget to light candles in his memory. Friends, we are a community here. We are learning about the famous rabbis of yesteryear inside this series. We've covered already about possibly 125 Iraqi rabbis, and we've probably covered over more than 1,000 videos in this channel within regards to great rabbis from the Ottoman areas, from Spain, from Italy, from Portugal, the Netherlands, North African countries, mainly concentrating on the Eidut Mizrach communities. Now, if you descend from any of the great rabbis we are speaking about, also, please send me an email. I would love to hear more. And if you feel like I've left anything out which should have maybe been added in, or give me some feedback myself, please send me an email. I'm always available to hear more, and it's good to hear feedback. Also, I think it's very, very important. So wishing you well, take care, and have a great day.